What makes someone a good person?
A girl at work always seems to remember the smallest insignificant stories I tell her. Something like I'm planning to check out some shop to look for a new knife set. Days later she'll come to my desk and be like, "Oh hey, how did you go with finding a new knife set?" I always think, shit, how did she even remember that? It always makes me feel important and it's so genuine. She's a good person.
Someone who also thinks of what others want and not just themselves.
When someone does a kind thing without the intention of getting anything back.
Knowing how to deliver a meaningful apology. This alone doesn't make a person a good person, but it's a sign of one. Everybody screws up from time to time, and being able to effectively show your remorse is important to allow people to continue to trust you in spite of your errors. I've had enough empty apologies thrown my way that I can tell whether or not it's genuine within a sentence or two.
Trying to leave the world better off than they found it.
Their first impulse is always to bring out the best in themselves and others. They make people feel included, appreciated, and valued. They act respectfully, they don't put people down to put themselves up, and occasionally help people become better persons of themselves.
Someone who always does what they know is the best thing for as many people as possible rather than what is the best thing for just themselves. Even when it might be difficult and inconvenient for them to do so. Everyone is capable of being that way. Few people consistently are.
Saying thank you to your bus drivers. Sometimes it's just small things.
Honesty, integrity, compassion and empathy.
Just trying not to be a bad person is good enough. Being good will come naturally if it is something that a person wants to be.
Everyone says it's about being kind, but being kind can actually be an unhealthy defense mechanism. A good person will be kind, but a good person should also be a complete person. Having qualities of the self-actualized person. Self-accepting, have peak experiences, autonomous, have a good sense of humor, spontaneous, enjoys the journey. Altruism and kindness are symptoms of a good person. Not what makes them good. https://www.verywellmind.com/characteristics of self-actualized people 2,795,963.
Treating others the way you would want to be treated.
When someone does the right thing even though they get no praise or recognition, are not being forced by any authority figure or legal parameters where they live, they help and defend others despite their differences. There are many more things I could said, but I believe those are the basics that are universal. You don't have to be liberal or conservative or anywhere in between to fit in this. Homework time. If the law wasn't enforced, would you still follow the law? Or do what you want knowing that there is no punishment?
Respect. Respect for other people, animals and the earth. Helping people, not hurting or belittling them. Being kind to animals and to the earth.
When they show a relatively consistent pattern of trying to better themselves and or others.
Many virtues and not many vices. I think good people don't objectively exist. You can be as good as you want, but you're always an asshole in someone else's story. For me, the best people are those who accept their mistakes and try to improve themselves every day. Maybe they'll keep doing the same mistakes over and over, but they're conscious of them and try to reduce them every day. And I really appreciate when someone is kind without ostentation.
That's a bit tough. Good and not bad aren't the same thing. So I can't say a good person is someone who doesn't do bad stuff. You're not a good person for not breaking the law, for example. It takes effort to be considered bad, so being not bad doesn't mean you're good. So I guess a good person is someone who tries to do good by others. But then again, what can be considered good? Not hurting people and helping people are two different things. What makes a good person good is actively trying to have a positive impact on their surroundings. I think.
Always trying to do better. They pass then move over so others can pass.
I'd say just not actively attempting to fuck everything up. Most people are saying traits such as kindness, empathy and selflessness, but I personally disagree, as this implies that only these so-called good traits can make somebody a good person. However, I do have to agree partly with you, Unicorn the Uniduck, about doing something without expecting reward.
The ability to listen to others, understand their opinions, and discuss with them on why that is without seeming prejudiced.
A gamer that becomes a sweat just to carry the level 5 person on his team.
Impact. It's the lasting positive impression you leave throughout the world with your interactions.
A simplified version of the golden rule. Don't be a dick.
They do good, without witness and without reward.
When they share their food. Y'all are the real MVPs. The Good Place is 5 seasons worth of this very question.
I've noticed some people that try to be good people are really not good people. From that I think one thing that makes someone a good person is that they do their own thing and don't infringe on others doing their own thing. Additionally, I think most good people are authentic in their actions, empathetic, and available to help those around them. A good person is filled with kindness, and is always willing to go the extra mile for you. Like give you a reach around while he's tearing it up from behind. Nothing. The concept is flawed. People do good things or bad, mostly and they fall somewhere in the middle. Judge the actions, not the person.
Usually reading through Ask Reddit threads about people makes me sad or angry, so this is a nice change of pace, not claiming let alone boasting I'm a good person. If you're doing that, you're either a poser or lying to yourself.
Honesty. If people are honest with themselves, then they can see that the flaws in others are just part of being human, and not really flaws, or something to be judged. They no longer feel they are the most important person, but that they are part of a whole, and everyone and everything must be cared for and preserved. I think we have days when all the stars align, and we see truth and beauty and honesty in everything, and in that moment, we are good people. I strive to recreate that moment and feeling, but it's hard.
IMO, a person who treats fellow human beings with kindness and compassion regardless of their circumstances, beliefs or looks. Not out of some God-fearing belief that they would otherwise go to hell, but out of a life ethos that we are all special and in this together. Empathy and being self-aware.
Just ask yourself if the world would be better off with more of that person. You'll find the rest works for just about everything, if a bit callously.
Picking up trash.
When they consistently do good things, without expectation of reward, that make other people happier, such as, make others smile, lighten others' load, be there to listen, help share a burden. I'm not a saint and I fuck up in lots of ways, but I also try to make other people's lives happier or better in small ways. Sometimes it's just a compliment, sometimes it's buying someone their favorite chocolate bar. Sometimes it's just listening to someone vent. Little things go a long way.
Not talking about how much of a good person they are.
Someone who doesn't say they're a good person.
Someone who gives as much good attention to a disabled person as to a not disabled person.
When he respects others' opinions as expressions or tastes of anything. That's me.
Closing the door before exiting the room.
When someone donating to firemen in Australia without anyone telling them to.
When someone identifies which part of the toilet not to piss all over, thus leaving it clean for others.
Easy? When they get enough points to go to the good place, when they upvote posts they like. If you're not going around actively trying to demean and diminish someone else's identity to either make yourself feel better, more powerful, or just because you can, then you're good, by doing good things and not expecting anything in return. By helping others when they have nothing to give. By supporting others even at personal expense. By being truthful even when it hurts your case.
They do the right thing even if they have nothing to gain from it. They do the right thing even when nobody's looking.
Someone who goes out of their way to cause as little inconvenience, distress and harm to others as possible. Not just to other humans but to other animals too. And by this I mean really going out of your way. Going against what you've been taught, going against what your friends/peers/family/job pressures you to do. Changing your own life in a way that is inconvenient to you, if it makes the world a better place for others.
When they fap with you.
I get interrupted a lot when I'm talking and I'm too burned out to do anything about it. I usually either immediately stop talking or I finish my sentence with nobody listening anyway. There are people who will look at me, and then say, "Sorry, you were interrupted, what did you say?" and redirect the conversation to me. Or they would split off and have a side convo. This small action shows me that they are compassionate. They don't have to do that, but they took the time to make sure I didn't feel invisible.
Generally speaking, being empathetic. Not only when someone is feeling down, but also when someone wronged you or does something that you disapprove of. Put yourself in their shoes and try to see it from their perspective, without any objective thoughts that could cloud your view. An open mind is always the doorway to a warm and loving heart.
Not using Reddit.
Doing what is right, even if everyone is against them, and being kind, even if they feel they are so drained and have nothing to give anymore.
Someone who knows and accepts themselves.
Not being a bad person. Doing things not for a notification or for some higher power but because it was the right thing to do.
This question has already been answered. https://www.alibra.com/anacomakeneethicsaurus.matches=675 https://www.alibra.com/anacomakeneethicsaurus.matches=675 Seeking for changing to a better person, every person would give his different answers from others considering his absolutes, so that we should rediscuss our ideas about everything in order to make sure those who thought are acceptable.
ITT, upvotes for traits people see in themselves.
I would say non-judgmental, a good dose of empathy, trusting, humble and always staying true without hypocrisy.
I don't think that's a question that can be answered properly, ever.
When someone remains an honest person and does not lie.
A person who tries their best to put the golden rule into practice.
Sublimation of selfish impulses and an awareness of your moral code. Delaying or even preempting personal gratification to assist someone else is something I would define as an altruistic intention, but it requires introspection. Humans are predisposed towards self-attainment. If you can suppress that impulse, you possess the foundation that a good person comprises of. And other attributes like empathetic, compassionate, encouraging, etc. are cumulatively built from the ability to suppress selfish impulses.
An act of kindness. Doing a good deed just because it needs to be done, not for any recognition or fame. Looking for good deeds as well, no matter how small.
DMT makes someone a good person.
Thank you for watching. We publish amazing Reddit stories every day. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to keep the dog smiling.